I remember a couple of years ago, my daughter was, I think we were in the grain truck and my mom was unloading and she looks back and it was wheat and she says, whoa, look at all the bread we're going to be able to make from that. So pretty proud of her that she could make that connection. I think she was only about 8 at the time. But I also think that my daughters, while they get to go to the farm, they're not growing up on the farm. And when they get to go out there, it's fun time and they get to jump on the trampoline. They're not getting up at 7 a.m. like I was to milk cows. Despite my job and that my parents still farm, my children are more disconnected from farming and what's happening than I was. And that's happening everywhere, right? With this rural urban shift, that's happening. So then when sometimes my kids say things, we're driving by the potash mine and my daughter says to me, mining's pretty bad. We shouldn't be mining. I'm like, oh boy. So that opens up a conversation. So I said, we need to have the fertilizer to grow the crops and whatnot. But I think that's the reality that we're living in, whether you're in a rural area or urban, that kids are more disconnected than ever before in what's happening on the farm. And I'm proof of it. Again, even with the job I have, my children are disconnected. They are what I used to jokingly say is those silly city kids that maybe don't know that much about what's going on.
That is so fascinating because you think about mining, there is nothing in the modern world that isn't predicated upon the very fundamental principle of digging stuff out of the ground to make things. That is our universe. And especially if you want to have electric vehicles, which I think all the kids do these days, and is getting mandated by some societies, i.e. California, that's all you can have. You definitely have to dig a lot of stuff up somewhere. So my question on a lot of this is, where are these ideas coming from?
I think they come from a variety of places. Sometimes they'll come from the teachers. Sometimes they come from what they hear, whether that's other adults talking or other kids talking. It'll be things that they'll see, whether that's on social media or billboards or anywhere that media is, which is thousands of places. And I think it's just some of the disconnect between what it takes to live the life that we are fortunate to live and what happens on the other side of it. I think mining, agriculture, those are two really powerful examples of, yes, there are some negative things that happen as a result. There's also a ton of positive, but you can really zone in if you want to and put your magnifying glass on that one image of the oil sands or one article about nitrification in a river and ignore everything else around that. When I talk about connection, it's not just connection to the farm that's missing. It's an understanding that interconnected. If you take away mining, say goodbye to your vehicle, your electricity. If you don't want modern agriculture practices, say goodbye to the variety of food you have a choice to eat. The connection that's out there and the understanding of the relationships, because people are further removed, that's missing. We have a few programs that I would say show the difference in that. We have a program where if you get lazy and you don't water, the plants die. Right? Here's this relationship. You're horsing around by the garden and you knock all the blossoms off, that cucumber doesn't form. We need opportunities for kids to be part of and to understand how things are connected.